begin tonight with technology and one of America's most celebrated companies, which finds itself in an unfamiliar place, the hot seat. Since the much-anticipated iPhone 4 hit stores 3 weeks ago, the company has sold more than 3 million of them, but they've also fielded massive complaints, specifically regarding the phone's faulty antenna. Today, CEO Steve Jobs tried to deflect the criticism and allowed us into their secret lab. How serious is Apple about quality control? Bill Weir has our report.
We're introducing iPhone 4.
So how could the most successful CEO in America go from this?
This is, beyond a doubt, the most precise thing, one of the most beautiful things we've ever made.
To this.
We're not perfect.
In just 39 days. Well, it began with an antenna, a stainless steel case study in form versus function.
This is part of some brilliant engineering, which actually uses the stainless steel band as part of the antenna system.
With more bells, whistles, and battery life than any smartphone in history, there was no room to put the antenna inside, so Apple put it on the outside of the iPhone 4, knowing that the occasional sweaty palm might weaken the signal in certain areas. They could have covered it in plastic, but then it wouldn't have been the kind of sexy device that makes people sleep on the street to buy one. In the first 3 days, Apple sold around 6 new iPhones every second. And then, just as fast, a few complaints spun into the company's worst image crisis in years, spread virally on the very devices Apple created.
I have my new iPhone here.
You see the bars right there? There's no bars.
I'm going to pause right here.
Bars begin to go right back down.
As you can see, it's got full signal.
And the bars drop.
The signal will drop to nothing.
As Jobs pointed out today, it is possible to strangle the cell signal out of many different phones. But according to Consumer Reports,
we've never seen it on a phone this strong.
Before the flap, the revered watchdog gave the iPhone 4 glowing marks, but now refuses to recommend it until they fix that flaw. Jobs acknowledged the power of that non-endorsement today, but at the same time tried to put the complaints in perspective.
We think there's a problem, but we think it's affecting a small percentage of users. We care about every user. And we're not going to stop until every one of those is happy. Because what the data says leads you to the conclusion that this has been blown so out of proportion that it's incredible. I know it's fun to have a story, but it's less fun when you're on the other end of it.
According to Apple, less than 0.5% of new iPhone users have called customer service, and the dropped call rate is almost on par with the iPhone 3. But as a sign Jobs is now fighting an image as well as a hardware problem, he promised to give free glitch-fixing cases to every customer through September.
We're going to send you a free case.
Bill Weir. Good to see you. Phil Schiller.
Hey, Phil. And Apple agreed to give us an unprecedented tour into one of their top secret labs.
We know of nothing like this on Earth.
Wow.
Which is one of the reasons, by the way, we don't like to show it. Because we don't want it copied. But anyway.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of people who'd be interested to look under these black curtains.
Expect that's true.
Yeah, okay. So what can you show us?
All right, so why don't we step this way?
All right. They show me how PhDs spend countless hours testing iPhones, x-raying their insides with CAT scans, strapping them to dummy heads and hands, and testing signals in multi-million-dollar chambers. It was widely known that one of your prototypes got out of here, got out into the public before launch. Did that in any way affect the amount of testing that went into iPhone 4? Did it accelerate it? Did it change the dynamic?
No, I don't think so. We've been doing testing on iPhone 4 for many, many months. A lot of the testing that we had done on the device was completed by that time. What we did over the last 22 days is repeated literally months of work to verify that we understood the design that we produced in the first place.
And you stand by that original assessment?
I do. I think, we had an opportunity to compress a lot of testing into a relatively few number of days and really re-verify, what we've built.
Right. But they admit the collective genius and effort in this lab is only as impressive as the products you eventually hold. After all, they work for a perfectionist, a guy who has created an army of fans who expect nothing less.
And when we fall short, which we do sometimes, we try harder. we try harder. We pick ourselves up, we figure out what's wrong, and we try harder. And when we succeed, they reward us by staying our users. And that makes it all worth it.
I'm Bill Weir for Nightline in Cupertino, California.